311 Golden live here from the Dubbo jail, and I'm in a little bit of trouble. And today this topic is on warmth and happiness from childhood. As you can see, this is part of Dubbo's history and culture. Unfortunately, not like the old days, I can actually just get out of that by myself. I'm going to go for a walk through this building here. As you can see, and if I just put on the Irish accent, because that's where I'm coming from anyway, my history, and a lot of the inmates in the old days from Australia would have been Irish. We would have spent time after the stockade, probably recovering in the hospital here. You can see this is the infirmary around here in the Dubbo jail. It's very basic. I'll now go back to my normal accent. So in the old days, Australia was built on convict shipments from Britain, and this jail here is in the central west of Australia in my hometown called Dubbo. We're walking down the narrow corridor to the male prison block, and as you can see, it's very nice sandstone walls. These were all made by prisoners using pickaxes and all sorts of very basic tools. We're walking now into the male prisons. Interesting how the lighting changes. This is a pretty desolate, and the lighting right now is very dark. You wouldn't see it through this camera, but very miserable lifestyles here. One of the cells. And most people were in jail for different reasons, and they would be doing their penalty for something as basic as stealing some bread or a material. I saw one in Hobart. A girl was arrested at 14 in Ireland and shipped out to Hobart and spent life in prison there just for stealing 3 meters of linen. So that was the prisons. These guys here are making an effort to actually buck the system and get out of there. I'm not sure if they succeeded. This jail was closed in 1966, and it became a tourist attraction in Dubbo. This is one of those really grisly parts of the jail where executions were done. And this is called, you see that? And people would be put up there and a noose around their neck and drop down. I can't even remember what that's called. A gallows, okay. Yeah, so this is the lifestyle of many Irish immigrants to Australia who were forcibly sent over here. There's my roots. And this connection to childhood and happiness, I think, if I get a little bit vulnerable here, then this would be growing up in the countryside and pretty much having a pretty happy childhood up until about the mid-teens, when unfortunately I lost my father, and then my mother had to struggle through a pretty male-dominated society in the 70s. Overall, I think I was a pretty happy kid, and I've been blessed with a lot of confidence to travel around the world and gain a lot of experience and break away from this prison conference here, this prison holding center in Dubbo. It's interesting that it was still operating in 1966, and this place here was causing a lot of concern for the local residents because it's just off the main street of Dubbo. So right behind me used to be the main entrance, and behind me this way, the opposite side, these doors lead out to the courthouse, where the prisoners would be sentenced and then transported about 100 meters into this jail complex. Because the residents were a little bit concerned about the security in the main street, this became the main entrance after there was a lot of conflicts about it. And that's the prison. I'm going to do one more thing and go up the tower, the watchtower, which is where they have a view of pretty much all of Dubbo from there. So I think if I answer my question about warmth and happiness as a kid, I think I had a pretty good life in the country, had a lot of places to run around, and Dubbo at the time was a small town, so most people knew each other quite well. It was very friendly. But as the world's become more urbanized, I think people are losing that community aspect, that community feeling, and that in itself creates disassociation, and basically people are becoming less warm, I feel, as we become more virtual and living on the internet, which is sad in a way, because if we lose that skill, we lose our humanity. Here it is, my view of Dubbo from the top of the watchtower. right around. There's that tallest building I talked about the other day, the skyscraper in Dubbo. And that's it. Now down here, outside of the jail, if any of the local residents came within 10 meters of the jail, they would be warned off. And if they didn't listen, they would have been shot dead. So it was a pretty gruesome place, pretty violent. Anyway, today I've gone live in Dubbo Jail. I've been very fortunate to actually walk around with almost nobody in the frame. I haven't offended anybody. Today's question to everybody listening in and to anyone that watches later. So how do you gauge or how do you judge your happiness and warmth from your childhood or even your life today? I'm Drian von Golden, live in Dubbo Jail. And finally, just get the watchtower, clock tower in the background if I can. And close off there. There I am closing off in Dubbo.